Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a beautiful princess named Daisy. Princess Daisy had grown up seeing and hearing of other princesses getting swept off of their feet by their Prince Charmings and riding off into the sunset. Daisy dreamed every day that she would meet her perfect prince and live happily ever after. On the day of her 18th birthday, the king and the queen sent a message throughout all of the land decreeing a search for their daughter's perfect suitor. Because of Princess Daisy's beauty, many bachelors came to compete for her hand in marriage. After 2 months of reviewing and sending away many eligible men, the princess's parents decided to speak with Daisy and see why she was being so picky. Daisy explained to her parents that she wanted to be swept off of her feet by the most handsome man she had ever seen. If Snow White and Cinderella, 2 servant girls, could marry the handsome prince, why couldn't Daisy? She believed that she deserved the best and nothing less because she was the daughter of one of the most powerful kings around. Her parents understood this and decided to extend their decree to lands even further away. Throughout all of this process, Daisy relied on her best friend Philip to help her get through. Philip was a servant in Daisy's castle, and they had been friends since childhood. Daisy and Philip knew everything about each other. However, there was one thing Daisy did not know about Philip. This fact was that Philip was madly in love with her. Although he really wanted to confess his undying love for Daisy, Philip knew that he could never tell her because she wanted a handsome prince. He wanted nothing more for her to be happy, so he stayed silent and decided to help her find the best man so that he knew she would be treated well. One day, a handsome and mysterious prince came knocking on the palace door. He had heard of Daisy's beauty and could not wait to make her his wife. After a long and romantic talk, Daisy decided that this prince was the one. He wooed the king and queen and gave them a dowry they could not refuse, and they decided to accept this prince as their daughter's fiancé. As Daisy began to pack, she told Philip all about her very own Prince Charming. Philip wanted to meet the prince before he and Daisy left, so she agreed to introduce them. But after being introduced, Philip did not get a good feeling about this prince from the land unknown. He tried to tell Daisy, but she thought that Philip was just being overprotective and somewhat jealous. She promised to write Philip every day and that everything was going to be just fine. That evening, Princess Daisy and the prince rode off into the sunset to their new home. On their way, Daisy noticed that her newfound love headed toward the enchanted forest. Daisy had always been told never to come near this forest because there were many evil things lurking within it, including a witch. The prince assured her there was nothing wrong with this forest. In fact, he had cut through it on his journey to get to her. He promised to protect her, so Daisy agreed. Daisy knew the couple had a long journey ahead of them, but had no intentions of stopping to rest while they were in the enchanted forest. When the handsome prince began to set up camp for the night, Daisy's uneasiness began to turn into fear. There were so many noises. Was this all in her head? Were all of the stories about the enchanted forest made up? All of a sudden, Daisy heard something rumbling in a bush nearby. She then ran over to her soon-to-be spouse, only to find him missing. How can this be? Out of nowhere, Daisy heard the cackle of a witch. The princess becomes frantic and starts yelling and running in desperate search of her new prince. Daisy then came face to face with her biggest fear, the witch she had always been warned of. "What have you done with my fiancé?" Daisy exclaimed. The witch cackled even louder. "You foolish girl," the witch proclaimed. "You have no prince. I am your prince." The evil witch had disguised herself as a prince to lure the princess into the forest. The witch needed a young and beautiful princess for a potion she was making, a potion of youth. In this moment, Daisy realized how foolish she had been. Then, out of the bushes came a shadowy figure. The shadowy figure rushed to the witch and stabbed her right in the heart with the only thing a witch can be killed by, a golden sword. As the figure begins to approach Daisy, she recognizes an old friend. Philip had saved her life. It was in this moment Daisy realized her love for Philip. When she tells him, Philip is ecstatic. The two run back to the palace to tell the parents of the good news. The very next day, Philip and Daisy got married. After having the most beautiful wedding a girl could ask for, Daisy and Philip rode off into the sunset, just like Daisy had always imagined, and they lived happily ever after.